Okay, another episode of the Things I Wish I Knew About Money podcast. I'm your host, Kamille Smith, and it's a solo dolo, but it's all good because Dre is there here in spirit and all that good stuff. So we are a little late, but no worries. Happy New Year again to folks. Was it the 8th? Oof, my gosh, a week has gone by and it's been crazy. And I'm just going to do a little recap. I've been decluttering, and it seems like I bit more off than I could chew. So it's taking me longer than expected. But I started off this today with the Black Moms Connection again. So thank you to that team for, always thinking of me to, support the community for Black moms and everything. And I always got to give a shout out to my mom. So shout out to Mama Bear and all that good stuff. And today I want to discuss about something that I've been meaning to talk about for a very long time, and I've been trying to find the best way to discuss about it. And this is something that I've heard for many, many years, and also I keep hearing it till this day, and I'm like, dang, we're still actually doing this, and that's Partna, however you want to say it, or to the non-Jamaicans, Sou Sou, and even some Africans, they call it Sou Sou. I believe there's other names. I think I've seen box hand or something, or hand box, them Guyanese love to say things backwards. Just joking. But I just really want to dig into that because there's so much things I want to say. And I want to be respectful. And I know this is going to be a hard topic, but I thought I would first start it off as a lesson with learning the history. Because some people probably may not know what Partna is. So I'm just going to do a description of what it means because, knowledge is key. So what's the history? I was about to do the explanation first. So the history with Partna is it's originated from West Africa, where I'm going to say women in general would come together and have like an informal rotating savings club. Let me not say women because I can't confirm if it's only women that do it, but I remember when Andre was doing his BBPA Saturday mornings, I wanted to say exercise, but it's not exercise. His weekly webinars, yes, financial literacy webinars. We did have a discussion about it, and someone was vouching for it and was saying that the history is that women would form together to be able to help I'll say tribe, to each person in the tribe that contributes money, they would be able to help out each other. And as much as I understood what she was saying and I respected it, it just there's things I remember my mom or aunts and stuff talking about, and I'm not understanding why they continuously did it, because there are other ways to do a savings club. And it just, so sorry, let me get back, let me rewind, and let me talk about the history of it, okay? So it is practiced in many African and Caribbean countries. The basic concept remains the same. Oh, it says box hand with Guyana. So it's popular among African, Caribbean, Latino, and Asian immigrant communities. Some use it to start businesses, others for big purchases, vacation, down payment on properties, cars. So have it. And there it is. The old folks tell it in the past. Home wives who didn't have any income, those in rural communities who had no access, no access to money, to traditional banks, used Sou Sou, and the women would save a little bit of money from whatever their husbands gave them and put the Sou Sou to be able to treat themselves when their turn was their turn to receive a head. And this is kind of like under the mattress method, right, of saving, and it still goes on to this day. And it's kind of sort of a accountability tool if you don't have the discipline to save your own. And if you need like a lump sum, but you can't get a credit card or loan or traditional financial institution due to bad credit or just bad credit history, Sou Sou is ideal. And let it be known that this is not similar to Loom, because I remember when Loom came out and it was similar to Sou Sou, and I was like, this is Sou Sou, but it was more of like a pyramid scheme. So Sou Sou Partna isn't a pyramid scheme. It's not a scam like others would think or try to associate it with, because you are coming together as one, and you're let's say 10 people was coming together and putting in $100 every month. Every month, someone out of the, nope, let's do weekly. So $100 weekly. So every week, someone would get $1,000, and this would last for 10 weeks, right? So this is just something that, like once before, I mentioned women that didn't have access to like traditional banks or had little income would do this type of partner, would do this type of method, technique. Now, I understand the reasons. You know, you want to go on vacation, you want to pay off debt, you want to do a big purchase. So I remember seeing my folks do this often, and I was like, what is this? And ideally, when I was older, I started realizing that, are we really doing it this way? Like, why? It is a savings club that helps people get the habit of saving. However, there are other ways to do it now, because you know we are able to get traditional banks, or some are able to get credit cards or loan stuff. Some aren't granted, but I'm actually talking to the folks that are able to do it. So like I had a discussion with someone the other day. They told me that they were in a Sou Sou, and I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. And they're like, yeah, I'm in two. And I'm like, two? Dang. So they were in a weekly one and they were in a monthly one. And they just told me, they're like, Camille, I messed up. Like, I really thought like it would be ideal for me to have this Sou Sou. And I'm like, I get it. And then I didn't want to judge because I'm not judging, but I started off saying, okay, what was the reason why you joined the Partner? And she was like, oh, because, you know, back in the day when I used to do it, I was working like a 9 to 5 and it would work. So I continuously kept doing it. Continuously kept doing it. And I was like, all right, bet. However, what about now that you're self-employed? Is it ideal for you? She's like, it's probably not ideal with like being self-employed. I was like, okay. So now we understand what, if you have a regular cash flow, it is ideal for someone that has a 9 to 5 to get it done or to have it, or it's ideal for, or it's not ideal for someone that is self-employed that doesn't have regular cash flow coming in. So then I was like, perhaps this should be your last time doing it. And I know the reason why you're doing it is because you want to learn how to save. So granted, now you're getting the habit of saving, and that is a money mindset with learning how to save. But after this, why not start saving in your own bank and in your own brokerage account once we get there? Because granted, remember, with Partna, you're getting this money. So remember, we have 10 folks putting in a pool of money, $100, and you're getting $1,000. However, you're not getting any interest from that, and you're not losing any interest. So it is a win-win situation, but how are we able to grow if we're not getting any interest from it, right? Because the way we are able to get generational wealth is through the compounding interest. And the issue what I always had was that you're not getting interest from this, so what is the point? And I hope there's going to be people, you know, in the chat and all that good stuff that wants to have this discussion, because I've had this discussion with a few people and they're like, no, it's not ideal. There's some folks that say, no, this makes sense because if I want to do a large lump sum of a purchase, boom, I do the Partner and I got it. And I'm like, all right, granted, because you don't need any, even though I would say have like a contract when you do a Partner, if you are to do it, but you don't need a legal paperwork or credit check and all that stuff. So I get for folks that aren't able to get a loan, it would be ideal, but bro, something's got to give. We have to start thinking of the different ways to actually use Partner. I know, you know, when we're in, when it's something that's like a generational thing that you've learned from generations on, because my grandma, my mom, my aunts, and all of them, I've heard Partner from them. And I'm like, okay, so we put the money together, right? They're like, yes. And then each week someone else gets it, yes. But you continuously have to keep putting the $100 in, even after you've gotten your money. Yes. I'm like, why are we doing this? So they're like, oh, you know, accountability, ways to save. And I'm like, okay, I get it. However, you realize once you've gotten your $1,000, you still have to put the $100 in. and boom. So you still have to like pay into it. So I feel like you're losing money in a sense, right? So now, what are ways that we could solve this issue? Funny you ask. So instead of having that under the mattress type of mentality, why not start putting it into a vehicle where you're able to get interest? Thank you for joining. Put into a vehicle where you're able to get interest on it, because if you're not going to get interest, and remember what I mentioned with the rule of 72, and inflation, rule of 72, these are factors that will either help us get generational growth and wealth or hinder us. So say inflation comes, I think inflation is 4% right now. So imagine you keep doing this continuously, you're never going to be able to overcome the inflation that we have every year. So in a sense, you're losing. And then here's the kicker, because I don't usually hear this one. And it always makes me laugh, because I'm like, wow, I'm just doing the wrong type of things, even though I wouldn't do that. So usually when you have Partna, you have a treasurer or a banker, someone that holds the money, right? So usually I hear the person that holds the money and gives the person $1,000. There are times they will run away with that money. So you actually, if you're gonna do Partna, you have to do it with someone you trust, because if you don't do it with people you trust, you are screwed, right? Also, what else? There are people that are joining. So say you have 10 people, and then once they get their pool, they dip. So now you're out $900 or more, right? Sorry, you're out $100 or more, depending on how many people drop out. So, and then, you always don't want to be the last person that gets the rotation, right? You just want to get at the first, like you feel like the first 3 people will be able to get the best of everything. But once again, trustworthy folks you would want to do this with, right? And then also, you want to, so, sorry, I just remembered. So the banker, in this situation that I heard, the banker gets a cut. So say everyone puts $100 in, right? So you're not gonna get $1,000. You're actually only gonna get $950, because the banker wants a piece of the cut. And I'm like, oh, this is genius. Of course, for the banker, it's genius. But for everyone else, you're actually getting screwed over. So now you're showing me that you're giving this person money because you're not disciplined enough to do it yourself, but you're also getting a cut. So it's like you might as well have done like a mutual fund or ETF, because you have to pay a fee when it comes to putting money into mutual funds or ETFs or even stocks, because you do have to pay a fee. So why did you do this when there's no interest in it? That's just my opinion, but some people may disagree with what I'm saying. They're like, no, Kamille, it's really beneficial. You really get that discipline. You get that accountability. Okay, so why not start an investment club then? Instead of starting a savings club, why not start an investment club? Actually, funny but not funny story. My family and I were going to start an investment club where we put money together and get stocks, because you're actually able to do that. I was able to research. I was like, there has to be a way where a group of people are able to put money together. Because, like, think of it. when Amazon was like 1,700, I was like, there's no way I can get one stock with that. But if I actually come together with folks and we put about $500, $600 every quarter or whatever, we'd be able to get like those higher quantity or no higher price stocks because we have more money in our hands and we're able to get more. And yes, you're cutting costs with that, but you're also reducing the gains on that. But in the end of the day, you are going to be winning either way. So I also want to do some statistics with Sou Sou. And I would just love to hear from anyone that has like experiences with doing Partna. I don't think I ever did it. I always witnessed my mom doing it, and I was like, "What is this?" So once again, it is legal. There aren't any laws or regulations against it, but I would just say beware with who you actually decide to start partner with. So let me rewind back to who should get it. If you still don't think doing it yourself, or you want accountability, or you want to be part of a tribe or a community where you're helping each other, that I understand. But why not have like accountability team that encourages each other to save and keep that money and grow. And it doesn't have to go to someone else's pocket or a fee that I heard about. And I don't want to shame anyone. I just want others to just realize what the purpose is of Partna and what the other alternatives are. So I'm just gonna rephrase my sentence again. So Sou Sou was for women that, or housewives, I should say, housewives or women that didn't have access to a bank or had an income that wanted to, get a little change. So they were able to form it with a tribe and get this money, right? Boom. Now, 2022, Lord, we have methods of having a bank, having a checking account, having a savings account. So we have methods of getting a brokerage account to actually invest. So I would say to folks that are doing Partna or Sou Sou, you need to find another avenue that will be able to get you interest. So think about it this way. You're getting zero interest, so that $1,000 that you received, it will never double in any years. Say you wanted to join a bank that has 1%, it would take 72 years for your $1,000 to double up to 2,000. If you were to get with an investment where, let's say you put it into the S&P 500 that did 25%, last year, your $1,000 would double up to $2,000 in less than 3 years. So it's kind of a no-brainer to me, but I understand we want to keep our roots. We want to keep our traditions. Why should we forget our roots and traditions? However, we can change those roots and traditions into modern society and also grow together. So that's what I'm just trying to show you. Instead of putting it into a pool and it doesn't actually grow, you can actually let it grow in a bank or in an investment where you can get money. Unless you're doing it to start a business, fine, then that's your way of investing. But then there's another way of doing it. You can have like angel investors and have someone just invest with you, or have partnership in a business and have form your money together and get that money flowing in that business. And that's another investment. So that will also get interest as well, right? So there's other things. I can't find some stats on it. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to find stats on it. But of course you can't find. But let's see. Oh, they're trying to call it MLM, but I don't think it is. So that would not be a fair thing. I know it's legit. I've witnessed my mom do it. I witnessed other women do it, and they enjoyed it, right? I do want to do some stats and just show you how many, or what's the percentage of women that actually do it. So give me one second. Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. Let's see. Oh, here's another one. There's no stats. Darn it. Oh, here's a fun fact. A Sou Sou could run for 6 months or up to a year, but that also depends on how many people. And I would say if you're not convinced by me to not do Partna or Sou Sou, and you want to continue to do it, cool. But I think you should have a limit of people as well. I think 10 seems ideal, at least 10 weeks, or maybe even less. I'm thinking 5. 5 is better. 5 is better. Like, it's just safer. And if you want, no, then that's more money putting in. You're putting $200 in just to get 1,000. No, just if you really want to say it, just get the habit of saving. Get the habit of saving by yourself, or even you could, like I said, still have the accountability partners or the group and just say, oh, how much did you save this year or this week? How much did you save this week? And you'll be able to reach the goals that you want to reach. So I have a great story. So one time when I was doing bi-weekly, and I still do bi-weekly automatic payments. So I was supposed to go on a trip 2016, I want to say. I was supposed to go to Jamaica, and I was told about it, let's say the previous year, November. And I was like, I don't know if I'll have money, but I kept saving every paycheck, right? So I kept saving. And it was a time, like, let's say April or May, for us to purchase the tickets and stuff. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Because I accumulated each paycheck, I was able to have the money to actually pay for my ticket. Remember, I have a sinking fund, I have an OSH fund, and I have like emergency fund. So my sinking fund is mostly for vacations or gifts. So I'm set. Like, if you actually get that system to automate your savings account, you'll be able to get that $1,000 in 10 weeks, or you'll be able to get the $1,000 in 5 weeks, depending on how disciplined you are. So all I'm really saying right now is be more disciplined to save, be more disciplined to find streams that will give you either dividends, and you can get the dividends from an investment, or you can get compound interest from a savings account, or you can get capital gains and dividends from a stock market. So, or the, sorry, a stock. So I'm really, as much as I love to keep traditions, because that's something I'm really stuck on, is keeping the tradition, the legacy alive. I'm more, but because I'm in that personal finance aspect and I know that there's better options, we have to start doing things that make more sense. And what makes more sense is getting something that is not interest free and actually finding ways to accumulate wealth. And accumulating wealth is not by putting your money under a mattress. Okay. So I wanted to keep it short. I probably rambled on, but I just wanted to touch on this subject because I think our ancestors did it for a reason, but now we can upgrade it for another reason. And the younger generation can show the older generation that we can actually get interest from it by like forming an investment club or forming something else like savings club that will actually accumulate interest and dividends and all that good stuff. So I'm going to wrap it up. I hope everyone enjoyed this. I know there's some ladies or gentlemen that have done Partna and wasn't happy or can't wait to get out of it. I know for a fact some people are ready to get out of it. So if you really want to figure a way out how to do a savings plan, feel free to contact me. You can email me at info@finansiq.com and we can like have a discussion. Send me a text. I'll send you my schedule link and all that good stuff. So make sure you guys like this episode and make sure you subscribe and share it, because I think our community, we are still behind with certain things and we need to learn what makes more sense in the community. And as much as we want to keep tradition, we are able to add some modern traits to it as well, and just to be, on the good side and just keep going and flowing. So on that note, folks, I hope everyone has a lovely week. Stay positive as much as possible. I know it was a little rough for me this week, but as much as you guys, ladies and gentlemen, can stay positive and just check on your strong friends, because sometimes they are the ones that are having a rough time, especially in the cold weather. All right, folks, till next time.
Anyway, Yard of Fame Music. Flip, flux, literacy, flip, flux, only literacy, flip, flux, only literacy, flip, flux. Anyway, job, flip and flux, only literacy, witnessing our blood because we're working on your class, flux, only literacy, talking knowledge, flux, no, flux, only literacy, witnessing our blood because we're working on your class, flux, only literacy.